think that there's nothing. I've heard nothing on the Blaise Matuidi thing, so I don't think there's anything to report. Blaise has been really focused. In particular, I'd say the last 2 or 3 weeks. I think when initially the speculation and obviously the ruling came out, I think it did have an effect on him for a couple of days, because I think he's obviously someone that is the top professional and he likes his life to be really calm. But ultimately, I think he's been fantastic the last 2 or 3 weeks, and there's no news from my point of view in terms of anything on Blaise. In terms of Sami Khedira, I think I came when the first day at the club. I went to watch the USL train because there was no training that day for the MLS players that were coming back into market, and he just caught my eye straight away within a group that was really young, within a group that was full of players that we were developing that probably not ready quality wise, experience wise. He caught my eye straight away, and I spoke to Darren, I spoke to Jason, I spoke to Anthony, and they said that this boy's a good player. He needs pushing, and we said straight away, let's get him in with the MLS players when they were coming back into market. We got him in with the MLS players, and I think from the first day to what we see now, the growth, the improvement, the development in him. It was a special moment when we give him his MLS contract. I think those are the moments as coaches, forget the results and forget what the glamour of football is. They're probably the highlights as a coach, when you see someone develop, that's worked hard, that deserves that kind of opportunity. And the players gave him a real strong ovation and support, because he's earned the right to be challenging Jovin, Kieran Gibbs, Breck Shea on that left-hand side. But I thought he was outstanding against the Galaxy. I think when you looked at what I like to see in players, his personality, and he plays with real personality. He lives his life with personality. And when we were signing Gregory and we were doing our due diligence and watching games and asking people, the biggest thing is when you speak to them face to face. I wanted to speak to Gregory face to face because I've played with, against, and with, and coached many Brazilian players, and I do think that they have a special quality. And when I spoke to Gregory, the first thing that spoke me about him was his personality to want to improve, the personality to want to get better, the personality and character to want to come to Inter Miami. And not just be average, not just to get in the starting 11, but he wants to be an MVP. He wants to be the best midfield player in the league, and that straight away was more important than any footage, any training footage that I saw, more than anything. And anything that I've seen or spoken to him about since, he's been absolutely top draw. I'm really pleased with that signing. I'm really pleased with the boy, and I think the scary thing is he's got another 20-30% more in his development when he gets fitter in terms of match fitness. Well, I think they definitely have a real identity. Successful last season. They play with high energy. They've got a good style. The coach is obviously a fantastic coach, and it's an incredibly difficult game, particularly when you go to Philadelphia, which is a tough place to go and get a result in. So it's a big challenge for us, and I think the challenge and what I want to see is how we react, how we respond as a group to what was a disappointing result on Sunday. Not a disappointing performance, but a disappointing result. And I think that it'll tell me a lot about this team, about how they respond, about how far we've come in terms of the spirit and the culture and the values that we try to implement. So I'm excited. I know it's going to be a tough game. I've watched a lot of Philadelphia over the last 10 days because they've been playing in, obviously, the Champions League. And high energy team, play direct type of football, got a real strong identity. And we're going to have to play even better than what we did against LA Galaxy to get a result. And the players are under no illusions about that. Well, I think when you're a professional footballer or a manager, whatever happens off the pitch, I've got to say, until after the game, I didn't know that Tom Brady was in the stadium. I've got to say, because obviously our focus was on the game. None of the stuff that was going on in and around obviously the stadium was any kind of distraction. I think what I would say is that having played having played and coached and managed in European football, the type of people that were at the game on Sunday against LA Galaxy is quite normal when you play for Manchester United or you play in the Premier League or you're in La Liga. You expect that type of audience, and I think being manager of Inter Miami, I think it's something that we are used to, we expect, and these are people that are fans of the football club. So I think it makes us very proud. In terms of the occasion on Sunday, and I think I said it after the game, I think it was a brilliant occasion for the football club in terms of the potential that's here. The supporters were incredible on Sunday, I've got to say. Everything about the day, the occasion. If I was a footballer in that Inter Miami dressing room, and we spoke about this week, then you've got to be highly motivated that you're playing for a football club that can give you that kind of challenge, the challenge to perform, the challenge and the expectation that comes with having the ownership that we have, the badge that we have, the people, our supporters that we have. You think about those supporters packed behind that goal. It was incredible. It was like a game in Argentina, one of the big games in Argentina, the big derby games where the atmosphere was so good. So I think it was a brilliant opener for us in terms of the levels of which we need to play, the levels of expectation that are on us, but also the size of this football club. You think about the viewing figures for the game on Sunday was probably higher. I've read higher than probably most openers or most MLS games for the last probably 10 years. So that fills us with a lot of confidence. Now, ultimately, we've got to get it right on the field. We've got to pick up results. We've got to win games of football. Well, I think if you're looking at it from a factual point of view, even towards Philadelphia or LA Galaxy, they're probably 4 games ahead of us in terms of match practice. So you think in the next 3 or 4 games, it's going to be, we're not going to be fully at 100%. And that is not an excuse, that's fact. We're probably 4 games behind Philadelphia in terms of the level of games that they've been playing at and the games that they've had pre-season. So it's the reason why we organised the friendly game on Monday night, to make sure that we're getting all our players up to a level where we can keep pushing them to the levels that we want to. The one thing I would say in terms of, even though LA Galaxy did outpossess us, there were still moments at the end of the game. You think about the chance straight after they scored where Gonzalo runs through, Federico had a good chance, Figal has a good chance. It's not as if we were dying on our feet at the end. We were still a team that looked like scoring. So that gave me great hope that there was a lot of determination within the team to still try and get a result. When you talk about mistakes, sometimes mistakes are through tiredness, through fatigue, concentration goals when you get fatigue. So do I expect us to be at 100% fitness-wise, match fitness on Saturday? No, but I don't expect that for probably 3 or 4 games. But ultimately, that's not going to be an excuse for any result that we have. And we're working really hard every single day. We're pushing the players every single day. What we've decided to do is to try and train through the games to get the players topped up as quickly as we possibly can, within the remits of the scientific data that we have. No, we've banned salt and pepper from the training ground. So there's been that was a joke, Franco. That's an English joke, probably. No, I think what we saw a top striker last Sunday play. I think he's full of confidence. He's led the team great in the debrief after the game. The day after, he was fantastic in terms of the positivity around the place, how he feels that we're doing the right things and that the players are in good shape. So I think we see a player that's in really, really good place and happy. And he's been in football long enough. He's played. Think about the Italian league that he played in, where the defenders are absolutely brutal. I think he knows full well that the only way he can answer that kind of retribution is by sticking the ball in the back of the net, and that's what we want from him in every single game this season. And if he's not scoring, he's setting up chances like he did last week for Robbie Robinson. I think the overriding feeling is that a group of people probably totally misread or had a lack of knowledge about what football means to people in England and in Europe. But particularly in England, you think about the stances that all the supporters of those 6 clubs in England that tried to break away. I think I think it made me really, really proud in terms of sort of like that's where you grow up. Sunday was a great occasion. Why? It was a great occasion here because of the supporters, not because of the people in the stands, not because of the players on the pitch. It was a great occasion because the supporters make it, and ultimately, we've witnessed for the last 12 months football without supporters, and you've got to say it's not the same. It's nowhere near the level of entertainment, and I think when you look back at history of the 6 clubs in England that obviously tried to break away, their foundations are based on working class people, based on supporters, building their fan base, and a group of people decided probably to make totally the wrong decision. Now I think what we've got to do now is accept their apology and their massive, grave misunderstanding and misreading of a situation, and we've still got to make sure that football is in a good place for the next 100 years, because ultimately the last 12 months football's took a financial battering just like any other industry in the world. And I've got to say that watching my brother speak so passionately on that Sunday night, I think it was after the game, Sunday night, when nobody really knew anything about it, when nobody really knew the ins and outs, when nobody knew what the project was about, he had the courage and bravery to stand up for what was right. And I think probably he started the ball rolling, and the rest, 24 hours later, 48 hours later, the common sense prevailed.